at Tampa.
No shit.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that I really enjoy is like that back against the wall feeling, right? So lots of pressure. So I kind of knew that I wanted to do Tampa coming out of the surgery. But kind of also it gave me that feeling of like, you have to come back right away. I don't get to take any downtime, no fooling around. The second they said my recovery was good to go, it was time to push as hard as I can. So right now, today was like, we're right out 16 weeks out. What'd you work out today, Nick? Chest. Should've just waited. Brett and I like this one so much.
Yeah. I'm trying to look at your delt. Yeah.
We asked Dylan to buy us one of these fly machines. What
do you got now?
Yeah, so we have two. We have a hammer strength and an Atlantis. But this one just seems to be so much more smooth. So we asked Dylan to get us one of these, and we got a couple other new pieces coming to arm wrestle. So that'd be exciting. I always wear a tank top underneath because I'm that guy. I'm that douche in the gym. But no, something I've really noticed a lot in training, as the bigger I get, the easier I get overheated. So one thing I've noticed that does me a lot of benefit in being able to push sets a little bit further is to wear a tank top, help my body cool off between sets. That way I can push sets a little bit further when I get intense. So it's kind of weird. So I used to love training by myself. Now it's a little bit awkward for me because I got so used to having Brett as my training partner, pushing me in sets. But training by myself is kind of like a glimpse back into why I fell in love with bodybuilding, and kind of like, while it's my therapy, even away from it being my sport and my career and all that stuff, it's just the thing that I love most. So these like moments like this where I'm training by myself, I kind of get a glimpse back into being the young kid that wasn't a pro bodybuilder or anything, just enjoying bodybuilding itself. With Brett being a little bit bigger than me, 275 waking up, or roughly in there, me waking up at 260, but looking at body compositions, we're thinking we'll end up pretty close to the same weight on stage. But he just naturally holds a little bit more water. He's a little bit taller, obviously, so he has to weigh a little bit more anyways. But it's just kind of interesting, you see that. And he started prepping, and in the first 10 days, he lost 8 to 10 pounds of just inflammation, just water and stuff. And that won't happen to me. I just don't carry that amount of water inflammation, So even when I start prepping, it'll be probably a week or two before I even lose a pound. It'll just be I'll just start tightening up and start to fill out, or I'll start to go a little bit flat in certain days, But otherwise, I don't really lose a bunch of water. Can we add weight to this machine? With this machine, flies is something that I'm very strong at, especially when the delts get activated a little bit. So I have this machine maxed out, and what I'm gonna do, instead of being able to put more weight on this machine like we would at home with a gym pin, instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna implement a rest pause here. So I'm gonna do 10 reps. I'm gonna rest 10 seconds. I'm gonna go into another set of failure. I'm gonna rest 10 seconds. Then I'm gonna go into a last set of failure, probably 4 or 5 reps in that last set. Really just pre-exhaust this muscle before I get into my other pressing move. I'm gonna do Tampa.
Oh shit,
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that I really enjoy is like that back against the wall feeling, right? So lots of pressure. So I kind of knew that I wanted to do Tampa coming out of the surgery. But kind of also it gave me that feeling of like, you have to come back right away. I don't get to take any downtime, no fooling around. The second they said my recovery was good to go, it was time to push as hard as I can. So right now, today was like, we're right out 16 weeks out. So that's a full prep. Obviously I don't have to pull my food down right away because I get in shape pretty quick. So right now it's a more of eating as much as I can, growing into this. And then I'll start working on getting my conditioning where I want it around 8 weeks out, somewhere in there. But yeah, so gonna compete right out of the gate, see where I stand. I actually sent pictures to Hunter yesterday. He said, look man, I think as long as you can put yourself on stage about 5 to 7 pounds bigger than you were last year, I think you have a really good chance at winning a pro show. So that looks really beneficial for me right now. I'm 7 pounds bigger than I've ever been, waking up in the morning, which is really cool. On top of, I feel like I'm in the best condition that I've ever been, even close to this weight. So I'm just gonna continue to get better here. I think that the surgery actually made me take the time to rest, give my body what it needed to recover. And because of that, I'm responding so well coming out of this that I don't think that I'll have a single hiccup, and I think that this will be my best showing to date. High school, knew me super well growing up, knew I loved bodybuilding and stuff. And so like in the middle of class, he'd ask me, he'd be like, yo Martin, what bodybuilding video are you watching back there? Cause I know you're not paying attention. I'd always be like, oh, you know, like watching Christian come here and Flex Wheeler train or something. And he'd just be like, man, you still get better grades on your tests than most of the kids in the class. And then they would just be like, God, you're annoying. Let's do it. As a little back off here, especially not having Brett, I probably would have got maybe one more rep there with the partner pushing me. So oftentimes what we'll do a little back off to finish this movement off, or really any movement specifically, but right here what I'll do is a tempo. So I'm gonna drop the weight back a little bit and I'm gonna focus on the negative. So I'm gonna do a 3-second negative, a slight pause in the hole, and then I'm gonna explode through the press. What this is gonna do is create more time under tension. More time under tension means more damage, means more muscle growth. Couple things. One, I like to start with flies. First, I feel like that causes the most muscle recruitment, which then in turn warms the muscle up best. I think it also gets the shoulder joint involved, which helps warm that up too. Next is incline. That's two reasons. One is that's the weakest part of my chest. And two, I feel like that's the safest chest movement to be able to push lots of weight. So go to that heavy compound first, push weight up, then move on to a flat movement. We only do pretty much machine flat movements. This is a bodybuilder thing, but it's to protect your pecs. Flat benching is really dangerous for the pec muscle, especially barbell. And for me, it doesn't do me any benefit. My bench number doesn't matter. My pecs, how big they are, matter. So a machine is better for that. And I get a better contraction here than I'll get on a barbell. I'm gonna try to use my triceps and push a bunch of weight versus really contracting the muscle and working the target muscle in the chest. This machine's hard to get into. Ooh. 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 Ow. So I just like to add something else in at the end. So now we've done a bunch of damage, and instead of it being more of a auxiliary warm-up movement, now I'm using it to shuttle blood into the muscle. So I've done the tear down with the two heavier compounds. Now using this fly, I'm opening the muscle up, stretching it, letting a bunch of blood in there to help with recovery, help with the purpose of stretching the muscle fibers out to get a little bit more damage and return more growth. Writing my own bodybuilding history. That's pretty cool, man. So honestly, that's something I haven't put a lot of thought into, but it's something that I do set my goals around. So something that I know for a fact is Dallas McCarver is the youngest guy in modern day bodybuilding to make it to the Olympia, and he was 26 years old. So right now in my head, I'm 24 years old and I'm gonna beat that. That's something really important to me. And I think those little monumental goals will build a pretty cool legacy at the end. So am I thinking about those things? Sure, kind of subliminally, but more than anything, I'm just having fun and enjoying the process. I don't steal shit at arm rests because I just leave it around all the time. The other day I left the shaker cup out and I came back like 2 days later, still in the same spot. They were like, that's Marty's shaker, just leave it. He'll be back to get it sooner or later. This is kind of a finisher for me. So this will finish off my chest. I'm going into a single arm movement. What I like about that is, one, I'm building a better mind to muscle connection. I can focus on the pec individually, really focusing on the contraction and the squeeze, and making sure I feel it in the part of the pec that I want to feel it in. And two, I feel like this is a great way to finish things off by focusing on them individually, to where I can give all of my effort into the one pec specifically to really finish them off, versus going both arms at one time. I feel like you lose a little bit of power at the end, just focusing on trying to get both of them to work.
Is this something that you progress on, like those things?
Yeah, so I'll still progressive overload with every lift, but this is something that's more gonna be progressive on how I'm feeling at the end of the training session. So some days are better than others. You know, some days I might hit a PR on the incline compound in the beginning that might change this. But even if I hit the same number on this and hit a PR there, that's a PR here because I hit more reps in the beginning. So you have to take all those things into consideration. Logbooks are great, writing things down are great, always beating numbers are great, but there's a lot of other factors that come into play, especially when you start to get at this elite level. You can't always just beat a number and expect to get better. Sometimes you have to make a lift better, or change a lift, or even hit, like I said, hitting the PR in the beginning is still progressing the lifts at the end of the session. So you have to take all those into consideration and know that just because you progress a number doesn't always mean that you're getting better. So she's heavier than the one at home, I feel like. All right, guys, so that's a wrap on a quick chest workout with me. Like I said, only hitting a little bit of chest. Generally, I would add in a different muscle group with this, but we have some training plans this week that we have to make work. So I'm saving shoulders for a different day, but take it, leave it, whatever you want to do with it. This is the cues and the tips that I got for you. So come back next time and we'll give you some more. Thanks, guys.